Islam Dwayne. It is August the 27th, 2019, and I am at Whole Foods. August the 27th, 2019. I'm at Whole Foods. I got off work at approximately 3:30 p.m., maybe 3:45 p.m., and I came here to eat. So this is this is in correlation to the my break video. I was on break, and I did a video to send to you. And I'm going to send it to you, and I probably will pin this on my Twitter site. So one of the things I wanted to tell you, some of the thoughts that was going through my mind, is today was such an odd day, because when I first came into Burger King about 8:15, I noticed spiritually my genitals were being attacked spiritually. You know, when I say spiritually in a sexual manner, you know exactly what I'm talking about in reference, because you're a spiritual teacher. And like many Moorish Americans, either you've experienced it or you've seen those who have experienced it, so you know what I'm talking about. Second, so that's about 8:15. Well, before I tell you that, let me tell you some of the people I work with today. I work with the manager, Thomas, the black male manager, Del Rey. There's a new girl I work with. Her name is Rochelle. Del Rey is a black African American or Negro according to constitutional law. I mean, not constitutional. It wouldn't even be. That's not even considered a constitution, a nationality according to constitutional law. So unless he claimed a nationality, which I don't know, I'm just describing him. The lady who I'm pretty sure she said she was from Mexico. Her name is Hamima. Lorena, I don't know where she is. She's either from El Salvador or Puerto Rico. I'm not sure. The new girl, Rochelle, she would be considered black or African American. She used to work for Burger King before, but she came back. And I remember because I've been working or earning money at Burger King for over 3 years, and I remember when she came to work for Burger King, she stopped working, I don't know why, and then she came back. Who else did I work, Kenny, who else, John, he's a pale skin, and once again, Mr. Thomas is a black male manager, unless he claims a nationality, and once again, you know that black, African American, what I've learned, pale skin, white American, Hispanic, these are not nationalities, and you have to have a nationality in order to be in the U.S.A. constitutional fold. And so I'm just giving you a description. I don't know if they have or not, because I've never had a conversation with them in that manner, but I'm just giving you a description of who I worked them on today. So who else? And I guess if somebody else come, I'll speak about it. And Precious. Precious is another female that she would be considered black or African American. In fact, I told you, like, sometimes hearing like a voice outside and around the room, like a mic is in the room at American Extended Stay. I'm not saying it's her or Mr. Thomas or Naomi, which is another girl that seemed to be that could be from Mexico. I'm pretty sure she said she was from Mexico, but I'm not completely sure. I'm just giving you a description of their voices so you can have an idea of what it sounds like, or being outside and around the room. And I don't know any of them personally. In fact, the most friendly conversation I would say I really have had has been short. Even today, there's a new girl named Alexis. And I was laughing a little bit with her, just, friendly laugh. She's new and she comes on second shift, but that's like, I was telling her, because I laughed because I called her by Alexia, and she had to correct me before and tell me her name was Alexis, and she would be understood as a black or African American too. But that was probably no more than 3 to 5 minutes, and that's how I like to keep it, because I don't want to cross over any boundaries. And I don't know their personal life, but like, for instance, some of the conversations they have, I don't include myself in it. Like, for instance, today, I was standing next to Precious, and that's the lady in reference to, and she's not even, I don't know what her age is. in reference to demonstrating how a voice sounds inside the room. I was saying that the main, there's an unknown, it has a Negro black accent male voice, Spanish speaking male voices, and pale skin sometimes, and sometimes similar, like I said, similar to what I'm working among at Burger King. So she was speaking, and it sounded like she was talking to Khalid Abdullah Muhammad. Worked with him today, and I was next to her waiting to prepare fries, and she said something about riding a DICK, and you loved it or something like that. You love riding it. She was saying this, and I said I am not in this conversation, so I stepped away because it was too close. But when she said it, she actually looked at me. Her body moved towards me when she said it, and so I needed to move out. I said, I'm not in this conversation. This is not what kind of conversation this is. And I covered my ears because my hearing, which is one of the five senses, I needed to protect, because that can lower my frequency, and that's the same as attacking your genitals in a sexual manner, or attacking you while you're sleeping in a sexual manner, and then thinking because someone who doesn't know or unconscious because they're in a sleep realm, after you have raped them or in their dreams, then you go out in the public or keep saying constantly how you FUCK'd them, and literally you are a rapist or a murderer that's attacking in the dreams or the genitals in the public, or attacking the senses. Your hearing is a sense, and that can lower your frequency. Your eyesight, sight is one of your senses. Touch is a sense. Tongue is a sense. I never forget, sometimes I have touched someone by just being out and handing people money, and it'd be someone that usually at this time it was more than one or two or three or four or five. They were all black, Negro, or African American males, and all of a sudden I felt my genitals be attacked in a spiritual manner as soon as I touched them. So they were getting off when I gave them or exchanged money with them. I'm not saying, so I'm just giving you an experience. This is when I was, and they were actually trying to make my genitals get off in a sexual manner. So this is dealing with spirituality, and in reference to spiritual experience, and I'm being one of your students, and not just a student for you, but you are, just student. I learned from Motion American National Public still, but this is definitely to you as a spiritual teacher. In reference to the podcast, Balance and Transformation Podcast 2 and Balance and Transformation Podcast 4 that you have. And so that we listen to, that you, and I'm waiting for Balance and Transformation Podcast 6. So getting back, so Precious, sometimes they have conversations in that manner. And this time she actually looked at me and sort of like she talked about writing or DICK or something like that. And I don't have conversations like that, and I don't speak in that manner as a natural divine being. I'm not saying she's not natural divine. I'm just saying I don't speak in that manner. And so I actually walked away. And when I walked away and turned around, so I'm moving myself from this conversation. I went to go take a customer's order. I think he said, "Good for you." So that customer obviously heard what she said, because I spoke the words out loud. I said, "I'm going to walk away from this side, 'cause I'm not in this conversation." Then so that's a sort of odd event. But getting back, so today I was there, and I had a few thoughts in my mind. Like I was telling you, Dwayne, and once again, I'm not accusing anyone from Burger King, but I do hear, I'm not saying accusing, but one of the things I hear a lot of sometimes people saying about recently how Burger King is trying to help someone, and Burger King is trying to help somebody. And today, in reference to suing, I told you how guests would speak about suing somebody. And this lady came in and she asked for, I want to get back to the conversation, to the what I had thoughts in reference to spirituality, and then on the physical plane. So the lady came in and she wanted to order fries, and she said, "Does the fries have wheat in them?" I said, "I'm not sure, but I can give you I can let you look at the ingredients to see." And definitely I would have got the manager, and she was like speaking about how she can't have wheat, and if she was speaking of her not being able to have wheat, and if then she said, "I guess if I have a little bit, it's okay." And I was like, okay. So then she went ahead and ordered the fries. I said, "You still want to order the fries?" Because she didn't look it up and see if the fries have wheat. And when I offered to get the piece of paper, she said, "Never mind." She said, "I'll look it up." I said, but she ordered the fries before she did, and I was like, "You don't want to wait, even though you said that the wheat fries, if they have wheat, it can, I guess something I can't remember what she said, but she said that she can't have wheat or something about I don't think she used the word allergic, but she definitely implied that she will become ill if she has wheat in the fries. And she still ordered the fries. I said, okay. And so I went ahead and rang her up for the fries, and I reminded her. I said, you said that you couldn't have wheat, and you're going ahead and purchasing these fries. She said, "Don't worry about it. I'm not going to sue you." I said, "You're not going to sue me?" I said, "Okay, you won't be suing me. Be suing. If you try to sue, you'll sue Burger King, and I don't think Burger King wants to get sued." And so, and so then, and so she went around the corner with their food. It was her and another male. These were two pale skins. I don't know if they claim a nationality. And then she came, and I guess she ate her meal. She came back. She said she had a few, and she spoke about her outcome in looking up if the fries had wheat. And I just said, as long as you made that you made the choice to buy them, even though you didn't know. She said, "I only had a few of them. I feel fine," or something like that. So what I did was I told the manager Thomas about that, because and he said the exact same thing. He was like, she decided to purchase the fries, and so I did tell the manager Thomas that I was going to turn around and tell him immediately, but she said, "I'll go ahead and purchase these and eat them," even though she didn't know if they had wheat. So this many times guests come in, too many times for me to count, and speak about how they're allergic to certain things, and I usually turn around and tell the cooks and the manager about it so that they can do whatever they can to keep whatever item off their sandwich. That's what I usually do. So anyway, so getting back to what I was trying to demonstrate. So that's on the physical plane. Now getting back on the spiritual aspect of me earning money today. This is August 27, 2019. So I started to feel it's exactly, and once again, I'm not accusing anyone that work at Burger King of doing this, because I don't know who's definitely we are among unclean spirits. It speaks of unclean spirits in the Holy Bible, which the Holy Bible was made public law in this country in the year of 1982. So unclean spirits is not unheard of. So I know that we are among unclean spirits, and we are among those that unclean spirits that have the science of telepathy that Arrington-Bey and I, Ron Arrington-Bey, reject as Moorish Americans, our nationality being Moorish American. So so that's nothing uncommon. So when I say my genitals were attacked at about 8:15 a.m., it's like a ritual. As I walked after I clocked in to earn money at Burger King, it's not exaggerating. Then I noticed simultaneously when Thomas, the black male, spoke, he was taking an order. All of a sudden I felt a dull, sharp pain right here in the back of my ear, and then and it lasted for maybe about 10 seconds. This is simultaneous. I'm only giving testimony. And then it stopped. It was like maybe about 10 seconds. I just felt like a pain right here in the back of my ear. Let's see, what else? And in reference to the Holy Bible being made public law in the year of 1982, the year of the Bible, one of the main chapters of the Bible that I like to focus on is Matthew. But Matthew is not the only chapter that speaks of unclean spirits. There's Mark. There's other chapters as well, but that's one of the chapters that I focus on a lot. Um, so let me keep explaining what else that I thought was awesome. So that was another spiritual experience, and I know it was forcefully done. After, I think on the first video, if you listen to it, I was telling you that the new girl was asking me about my ring, and I told her I was still married to that I was married to you, and I called out your name, Arrington-Bey, and I said, yeah, his name is Arrington-Bey, and I said and she spoke up, I don't know if I could wake up every day looking at someone like that every day, and I said, well, you know, he's a man. He's a man, I'm a woman. We have the same state of mind and that, or chemistry. So it's easier to do that. It's not like I'm waking up to an ape or a gorilla. I know he's a man and I'm a woman. So in the spirit of truth, I'm able to do that. And that's really what it comes down to it. I'm able to stay married. I see she asked how long I've been married to you, Dwayne. And I said 7 years. I counted. I said 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I said 7 years. And this is the new co-worker, Rochelle. Unless she claims a nationality, she's African American or black. And then after I said that, then all of a sudden, we had the other conversation, and I was telling her, explaining to her about harmonizing with the earth and the universe. And it's not. I said, it's not like Dwayne will be taken from me. In fact, if we come together and I'm giving a harmonious energy, he's not taking from me, and I'm not feeling like the life is being sucked out of me. Okay, and so the same with him. If we harmonize in the same spirit, I'm sorry, a female, she's not in this communication. She works at Whole Foods. If I take from him, I'm not sucking the life and the spirit and the energy from him, where he is almost dying. And so that's the conversation that we had. And then and I said, so it's like the earth. So, you know, the earth, you harmonizing with the earth, and when you harmonize with the earth, you know, the earth is when I'm harmonizing with the earth is not dying. You know, the earth is not decaying, because this energy is being taken from the spirit of Mother Earth. But when you harmonizing with earth, you're able to give back Islam. So that's the difference. That's a huge difference, because when you are among unclean spirits who say paid, 3, they say the number 3 a lot. They speak of raping. They're attacking spiritually, mentally, or rapping, I should say. What else do they say? Or unclean spirits that actually will threaten to rape your child. Like I've heard them speak about someone having a big head in a sexual manner, and then say something about your son. So if they are able to, so why are they speaking? And then glance over it, you know, have an energy towards me. And the only child that I have with me is Arrington-Bey. And sometimes that could be in reference to his genitals. Okay, he's 25 years old, and he doesn't mind saying that he has never had sex with anyone, and he does not want to break his covenant with Allah and have sex with something that's not like him, that's unclean, and have DNA mixed with them other than what Allah has made them naturally to be. It's not, because he's not a beast. He's not an animal. He is a natural divine being. He is a man. I'm a woman. So I've had that on a on the spiritual side. Unclean spirits speak of how big somebody's head is, and speak of somebody's son. Okay, and then also say 3, the number 3. And this is in reference to the black, Negro, African American, sometimes, and those that speak Spanish in reference in a different manner. So So anyway, after that, I was so after that conversation with Rochelle, I'm maybe 3 to 5 minutes, I started to hear a conversation, even less than that, loud with Hamima's another woman, and she's possibly from Mexico. I'm not sure. I never had these conversations with her, and she was except for when we first I started working with her. I think I asked where she was, and I think she did say she was from Mexico. And she was in the conversation that she was having with Kenny. She said paid a couple of times, loud. I mean, really loud. Paid. I was like, and this is like maybe less than, I don't know. It's a little, not too long after I had the conversation with Rochelle. And I'm not saying that she was connecting the spirit of bondage to the word paid, but I was thinking spiritually how that's interesting, because all the documentations I have stated and did about unclean spirits, I'm not saying she's unclean, but saying the word paid outside and around American Extended Stay, military outside American Extended Stay, Edgewater. I don't know why. I was like, why were they saying Edgewater outside American Extended Stay? The only thing I know at Edgewater, and I just recently, not too long ago, found, you would think I know this, but I didn't know. I didn't know for sure. I knew one of the other stores that the lady that owns this store is in Edgewater, and her name is Janelle, and she's Chinese American, and her husband is pale skin. And I truly did not, but the Edgewater could be a city. I don't know why they say Edgewater. And I kept saying, and I think I documented that in the first year of us coming to Annapolis, Maryland. So, I never been to the store. I just, I've asked about the store maybe either right before I went down to 4 days this year. I went down to 4 days in January, and I think I asked what is in Edgewater, something like that. And I think I asked either Janelle or CJ, somebody I asked, or Miss Phyllis, about what's Edgewater, where's that store at? And they said, oh, where's the store? The second store was, and said Edgewater. This is right when I went down to 4 days. So around that time. What else? So that's on a spiritual level. So I was thinking spirit when I heard her say that. She was in a conversation with Ken. I don't know what they were talking about. But I was thinking spirit, and my thoughts did go to what I hear outside and around the room at American Extended Stay. And I'm like, or just like literally so loud, like a mic is inside the stadium. That's why I recorded some of the feedbacks. And of course, and I was hearing feedbacks when Arrington-Bey, my child, was there, Dwayne Arrington-Bey, when he was 19 years old. And so now when I post his demonstration of him being spiritually attacked, literally I see him, he was actually being murdered, because spiritually he was being torn apart. He was being murdered spiritually, and that was really what was going on. But if you don't know how unclean spirits operate and what they do to the mind, and once they have access to the mind and certain departments of the mind, you don't know what's going on. And so those that do or profit from it, they'll start saying that your child has schizophrenia or schizophrenic, bipolar, whatever, and put you and try to hospitalize your child, or will hospitalize your child, but once again, he definitely demonstrated that he had the telepathic code. He was 19 years old, and the demonstration video of seeing Arrington-Bey, he was being murdered. That's what was going on, and they was using his body, because many times those outside and around the room would say brother. That's another brother, and take it. And sometimes they had a Spanish accent, pale skin, the same testimony I have given before. And so Arrington-Bey, which is a natural being, was a natural being, but he was not in his proper status. He was not in his proper status through paperwork and spirituality and his religion. And so because as a natural divine being, Abbas Malik Bey, B-E-Y-E, was not in his proper status, that means he was used and abused at a young age, and torn apart mentally and spiritually. And so many times unclean spirits, Dwayne, when they say we're going to use it, or they start using the word use it a lot, that's what they're implying they want to do. So because they want to be able to breed and then possess and have access to those departments of the mind where they can demonstrate or molest, do other things that they want to do, whatever, and make you into a slave or something that's outside of yourself, that's not in the constitutional fold. Okay, to be a slave, you're not in the constitutional fold. So that's the demonstration that was happening with my child, Abbas Malik Bey. So, okay, as I move forward today, from hearing that Hameen was saying Peg, she could be from Mexico, I'm not sure. After I did the video after the break, I started to notice that many military men were coming into Burger King after I did the video after the break. And if you look on the video, I just looked at it. The guy that has the MIL, which I looked online, that says Navy. It stands for Navy Veterans. He was there today. That kept returning the bacon, egg, cheese croissant, and the same manager that was there when that happened, which was Mr. Thomas, was there. I worked with him today, and so. Anyway, the black male came in today, and on the video, he came in right when Mr. Thomas told me to go on break. Exactly when Mr. Thomas told me to go on break, I clocked out, I turned around, I looked, and there he was. And sometimes since that day, he hasn't really said anything out of the ordinary, but sometimes he's just looking towards my way in a piercing, I'm not saying he's looking at me, but in a piercing manner towards my way. So, but the MIL with the symbol, I looked it up. It said Navy veterans. So I don't know if he's a veteran or if he's using someone else's car, but that's the car that he drives. And because I was stopped by a black male when we first got here, and some of the other odd behaviors that I just did not correlate to what we were taught to respect as Moorish Americans as we reclaim our actual freedom, being the constitutional fold and affirming to uphold the U.S.A. Constitution of 1787, all aspects, all Abraham Lincoln's proclamations and the 13th Amendment 20 sections. I started to document because I was like seeing a black male come into Burger King singing profusely how we're going to get a soul for about 10 minutes, singing and sweating profusely, and no one seemed, and I mean like he was doing a ritual. And no one seemed to think that was odd. That was odd to me. He had the Army emblem on the back of his truck. And that was when I first started working at Burger King. And once again, I've been working at Burger King for over 3 years. So that's when I started to really be careful, because I'm like, this is not what we are taught in our nation, Moorish American nation, as Moorish Americans, about how what we supposed to respect in reference to the military. So I noticed that the United States military men, mostly all black, or under that status of black, and black female too, started to come in after I did the video after break. And I thought something special was happening today. So the last one I saw come in, because they were dressed in full uniform. That's how I know. The last one that came in had the word Mason on his shirt, M-A-S-O-N, Mason, and it had Navy, and he was dressed in full uniform. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, is this a special holiday? Something going on today?" I seen that a lot of officers come in today in full uniform. He said, "No." Okay, I was like, okay. And I was wondering if it was. And then the customer I was waiting on, I was telling him, I said, I think he asked me, I was like, the day is August the 27th. I was thinking, because the U.S.A. Constitution Day is September 2019. Now, I could be wrong, but I think that's the date, September 19th, for the U.S. U.S.A. Constitution. That's actually a holiday, a day for the Constitution. And so I asked him, and he was a black male, because I didn't see any. Sometimes I see those that speak Spanish come in full uniform that's in the military. But today was all they look all understaffed to be African American, black Negro, and then a female also understaffed as a black Negro, African American. They were in uniform. I was like, what's who is this? What's going on? Not who is this, but what is going on? Is this a holiday? Anyway, but I started to feel sharp pains. So let me move forward. So I started to think about some of the things I remember when I first came to Annapolis. This is getting back to a spiritual. Okay, so I was bringing that to the physical. But let me get back to the spiritual. I remember in reference to Imani Gray-Bey and I, Rhonda Arrington-Bey, walking back from Moorish American National Republic on Friday or Saturday morning. It would be like 2 in the morning, because it takes about 4 hours to get there, 4 hours to get back on Fridays. Here, seeing Spanish speaking outside, or those that someone speaking Spanish around the gas station, and as we walked by, and they would be speaking loud, and a car full of blacks or African Americans would stop by and say, "Can we help you?" So they kept saying, "Can we help you?" And I was like, "We fine." We had on our national headdress. He wears his national headdress. We just came back from the temple, Moorish Science Temple. We were fine, but they kept. They did this twice. They pulled over, and the black Negroes, African Americans, a car would load of them would be like, "Can we help you?" And I was like, "We're fine." Then all of a sudden, I would see a pickup truck drive really fast by us. This happened more than once, with a Southern flag and a chain on the back. And I thought that was odd, because this is Maryland. And I've seen those in the South, but I wouldn't think to see something like that in Maryland. Maryland is north, so I was like, now I'm not saying you don't see Southern flags, but I just wouldn't expect to see something that definitely looked like a movie on TV, where they would actually drag people in the back of the truck, or drag different Asiatics on the back of the truck to kill them with a chain, and then have the Southern flag. So, and like I said, that's another thought I was thinking about on a spiritual level. Then I thought about how some of the Spanish would start speaking about werewolf, and I had a visual. I've had visuals appear of something that looked like a werewolf. And there was this one time, approximately a year ago, and a year and 2 months ago, I think I gave testimony about it. I was working, and I was earning money at Burger King, and I started to see this visual of a werewolf, like a wolf on the side of me. And my back was turned, so I didn't know who was behind me, because I was awakening, and so I saw this visual like a wolf. And that's not because of spiritual awakening, but also that which has the power can actually control visuals. And if you're not aware, just like your emotions can be controlled if you're not aware, thoughts can be controlled if you're not aware. Hearing music over and over again can be replayed like a cycle constantly, and if that is done, that science is done, it's attacking your senses. So your thoughts your mind is being attacked, and you think you are pulling up visuals on your own, but actually you're not. So that's setting you up to be in a mirage or facade of a reality that does not exist. So that's the power of the spirit of truth. So anyway, I was earning money at Burger King. I was sitting there and I was doing the fries, and I think I either felt my genitals be attacked spiritually, sexually, and then at the time I wouldn't give testimony so much about this because I didn't know how, because I never had, earning money and have your genitals attacked spiritually, it's like I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. So anyway, and I saw this visual look like a werewolf. Then I turned around, and this guy who was in that looked definitely Spanish speaking was in there like this and staring at me like this, like he was sucking something up. So, and you know, I've always studied Dwayne Baffle, but we don't know anyone that speaks Spanish personally. Never implied we wanted to know anyone that speaks Spanish personally. Never thought anything negative about them, because in the South, you just saw them and whatever. You say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Whatever. If they speak Spanish or not, you try to communicate, whatever. But that's as far as it goes. So I never, even since I've been up here, seeing the spiritual, mental engagements that has been forced in a spiritual, mental manner, is interesting, because it's like, why would this be done? What is the purpose? But seeing what my child Arrington-Bey experienced in reference to him being murdered spiritually, then that is a purpose. Spiritual possession is the goal. And if you're among those that are not like you, but they know what you are capable of, and this is not just attacking me, but it's attacking the earth and the universe, then that makes sense. It truly makes sense, because if you are promoting bondage, harm, spiritual possession, and the earth, okay, that's on that side, the earth and the universe is made in freedom, love, true peace, freedom, and justice, and all these divine laws that are healing, and they're harmonious with the universe, and you are trying to harmonize in that manner, then that which is going against it, whether they're saying pay, they're attacking, they're raping, murdering, whatever, you know they're going against natural law. So that is self-explanatory. Allah, the Allah that we are, and the universe is made in natural law. The United States U.S.A. Constitution is a natural law. It's an organic. At Whole Foods, they sell organic food. Whole Foods have a lot of organic food. The Constitution, when I look it up on Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, it said it's an organic instrument, Dwayne. So I understand how being in the constitutional fold demonstrates that you are a natural being, demonstrating an organic and natural law. But when you're not in the constitutional fold, then you might think you're a werewolf. You might think you're a bird, a dog, because you actually they might have created something like that for you to behave in such a manner outside of natural law. So so that's that connection. So that was something else I connected dots with. So anyway, so after I asked the military, getting back on the physical plane, the United States military about that. He had the word Mason, the black male today. I said, is there a holiday? Because so many military, or those that imply to be connected to the military, was coming in fully dressed. But all of them looked to be understood as a black or African American. I was wondering what was going on. And he said no. And then after that, I went to tell Mr. Thomas I need ones. And I had to call his name and to tell him I needed ones. And he actually cursed. He said something about if this person, if she don't effing stop calling me, and that's what it sounded like he said. And I walked away to go take the customer, and I came back to him. I said, "Sir, is there something I did wrong? Is something wrong?" And he was like, "No, you're fine. It isn't fine." I said, "Okay." So I just went over it, but definitely that's what it sounded like he said. And then immediately I started to feel a sharp pain around my ankle. The exact way I started to feel a sharp pain when Khalid Muhammad, I work with Khalid Muhammad today, but I'm not accusing him. I'm not accusing anyone of doing this, but I don't know who, around my ankle. And so if you remember, I did a documentation, or not documentation, testimony of me feeling a sharp pain, as Khalid Muhammad spoke of many people having the disease of herpes in Annapolis. He said many people have the disease of herpes in Annapolis. And then he was speaking with the other employees at Burger King. I was like, he was speaking so loud, but I wasn't in the conversation, just like I wasn't in the conversation with Precious and him today, when she actually sounded like, definitely she sounded like D-I-C-K, riding someone's D-I-C-K. So, and I just walked away. I said, I'm not in this conversation. So I started to feel a sharp pain around my ankle. And when I started to feel a sharp pain around my ankle, it was exactly the same manner of sharp pain like I felt when Khalid Muhammad spoke of many people in Annapolis having herpes. and he thought I was in the conversation, because as soon as he said something about take it out, he said, or something, the word take it out, I felt the sharp pain, and I looked, I said, ouch, and I was looking, and I said, gosh, I'm feeling a sharp pain. He's like, what did you say, Rhonda? And everybody turned and looked at me. I said, I'm not in the conversation. I just explained to him, and I told him, I said, when you said take it out, as you were talking about herpes, how Annapolis, many people in Annapolis has herpes, I felt the sharp pain around my ankle. So that's so in the spiritual, after Mr. Thomas seemed to get upset, I don't know why he said that. Now that's why I came back, but he said, because I wanted to see if there was something I did wrong, and he said there was nothing I did wrong. So I just walked away and let it go. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I hear him, I don't know, I don't know why, I don't know, but that's exactly what that's why I went back, and then I started to feel a sharp pain around my ankle. Let's see here, what else? So that's on the spiritual, and I don't know who was causing it, but I know it's abnormal. There's nothing wrong with my ankle. Then what else did I notice? And I was thinking about how I needed to upload these feedback, the voice recordings of hearing the feedback in the room, because that feedback, Dwayne Bey, is energy. So when you wonder why Asiatics maybe feel depressed, if you have unclean spirits that are sending feedback or have invaded a space, so what would be the purpose of them doing it? Why would they want someone to be depressed? Why would they want to send sharp pains to someone's joints, cause disease? Why would they want to spiritually possess? So so the word unclean is spirit, and going against natural law, and going against that which is, and I should say, being an enemy of Allah, which is the spirit of Mother Earth and the universe, then that makes sense. Being the enemy of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then it makes sense. So that's love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So I just continued to work. I swept, I mopped, I restocked the refrigerator again. I did it this morning. I did it again this afternoon. I cleaned the shake spinner. I continue to give great customer service. And I made sure I suggested sold things such as the 3-piece French toast stick, the taco for $1, the shakes. And I just really kept smelling it and moved forward, and I kept my thoughts as I wanted, as much as I could, but not to a place where I couldn't focus. So that, and the mopping, Mr. Thomas actually made the mop water. So, and I said, sir, I was going to mop. He said, okay. And I went ahead and mopped. And cause I used to sweep and mop more than lately. I used to sweep and mop almost every single time I worked the shift. But I tried to slow down a little bit. So anyway, I've had managers say you do a little bit too much. So to end this, Dwayne Bey, of my spiritual day, I want to make sure, I think I said everything I wanted to say. I want to make sure, hold on. This is my time sheet. I don't know if you can see that. I was thinking about what I need to study. Well, anyway, this is my timesheet today, and I gotta do better with not having it wrinkled, but that's my timesheet. So one of the things the one I focused on is when Prophet Noble Drew Ali states how we as Muslims, he said the true follower of Islam is the one who does not cause harm through thoughts, words, and deeds. It is a degree We don't have to lift our hand and physically cause harm to anyone. We don't have to go shoot a gun. We don't have to commit murder. We don't have to, and even spiritually, we wouldn't. If you're a divine natural being, you shouldn't want to spiritually rape and molest anyone. Anyway, but physically, we don't have to lift a hand to do anything besides learning how to spiritually. Now that's physically. We don't have to. Learning spiritually how to protect ourselves with chants without lowering our frequency. Because I think certain words and something in certain ways you chant when you're experiencing a spiritual attack as a natural divine being in the constitutional fold, that such as Arrington-Bey and I am. Arrington-Bey, there's certain chants that you can do that can actually lower your frequency because you're angry, because there's an emotion that goes with that. There's a thought, and in that thought there's an emotion, and that energy goes with that, and actually so that makes you lower your frequency and vulnerable. And what these unclean spirits do is feed off of that. They start using the word witch. They want you to behave like what they consider a witch is, especially those that be yelling number 3 and brother and whatever other werewolf, so that you can behave in a low frequency manner. Am I talking too loud? Oh, okay, I'm too loud. Okay, so you don't want to. I don't want to behave as a witch, because we in higher thoughts we are priests and priestesses. Okay, we are priests and priestesses. We're not a witch or warlock. We're not. If we don't have to. We don't go around molesting and raping and trying to initiate or use that form initiate, which is and say that you one of us, so that there's a slave breeding process going on, and that's exactly what it is, slave breeding. If that's the case in a spiritual manner, so so if you're not in the constitutional fold, then if you don't promote freedom, then there is a form of slavery going on. So anyway, I'll leave it at that, and that's where I'm going to end this conversation at Whole Foods. So I'm not a witch or a warlock, and I'm a priest and priestess, and we don't have to cause harm that way. We have to think of different ways mentally to raise our frequency and harmonize with the spirit of Mother Earth and the universe, and allow the universe, Allah, to allow time and prophecy to be fulfilled for things like that to happen. So those are my thoughts today. There was something else I wanted to say. That's it. Islam. And so that's my testimony on August 27, 2019. I'm going to continue to record. Let's see. I don't know why. I truly don't know why someone. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to tell you in my day at Burger King, earning money? Just once again, I'm not accusing any of the co-workers of being inside the room or using a mic in the room. I'm just saying, give you a description of what the voices sound like during about the day. Moorish American National Republic, because I'm definitely going to send this to them too. The National Grand Sheik Joe Biden. Oh, we're going to get our Social Security cards redone, our license redone, with our ancestral name of Bey. We're going to do that. We're going to do the Social Security cards hopefully this week, and then redo our ID, which that communicates to the government, to agencies that we are in a constitutional fold, and we are implementing Abraham Lincoln's. We're moving from the lower self to the higher self, and we are definitely implementing Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. With our ancestral name of Bey, and we are demonstrating that we have affirmed to uphold the Constitution of 1787. So that is so the Social Security card will be done. That's what the National Grand Sheik told us to do. Will be done this week. So that's about it. I think that's all. National Grand Sheik said do that, and yeah, that's it. Okay. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to say of my day earning money at Burger King or at American Extended Stay, or with besides I don't think think so. I think that was it. Islam, talk to you later.